This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Now we're going to dive into what is known as the rebound team. So this is going to go back to last year for this week and this week only. Then it'll be, hey, who struggled last week? Hopefully Miami or Florida's on this. Hopefully they're on the schedule next week, but for a different reason on our talking list. Rebound team, though, is going to go to Nebraska and Dylan Raiola, a team that kind of lost some games they probably shouldn't have last year, coming in with a lot of hype. With Matt Rule there as the head coach, and of course the star quarterback in Dylan Raiola, the number 2 quarterback in the country behind DJ Lagway last year. So let's go ahead and talk about the rebound team of the week. Tyler, big man, we'll go to you first. Talk to us.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, if you look at Nebraska last year, so they were close to being really good. And by that, I mean, like, they were finding ways to lose instead of finding ways to win. And they found a way to lose to Iowa. I think they lost 13-10. They found a way to lose to Michigan State, which I don't even know how, because Michigan State was just god-awful last year. And they had lost someone else by 3, but they were all by 3 points. Now they bring in Dylan Raiola, and this guy's supposed to be the truth. And I can tell you, when Patrick Mahomes says little cuzzo, I mean, it means something. So the way he threw the ball and how many guys they ran the ball with, I think they used about 5 or 6 different guys running the football, constantly keeping them fresh. And I think about 10 guys caught a pass for Nebraska. So it wasn't just one guy. It was a ton of guys on that offensive side. On the defense, they got a bunch of juniors and seniors who have all played together. And I just think they're going to break out, and they have a chance to upset a few teams that you wouldn't expect them to.
Cody, I know you guys have picked later on for our betting part of the show for our High Top Sports Boys parlay pick. How do you feel about Nebraska this week? I mean, obviously you like them over Colorado, but talk to us.
Yeah, I think before getting it too into obviously the Colorado and Nebraska matchup, I think they just have enough weapons to upset a lot of teams. They got a good back, catches great out of the backfield. He's got speed for days. Defense does nothing great, but they keep everything in front of them. They're not going to lose you a game, it doesn't seem like. And, the score should have been 14 more points because they had 2 crucial drops, one in the end zone that was literally in the bucket, and wide receiver just let fly through his hand. So you got to add 14 points to that. If they catch that, I think the biggest thing with that team, if they can get high and ride into momentum, they might be a little bit deadly. And their schedule is not the toughest in the nation, and I think Nebraska fans deserve it. This is a brand that they fill that stadium every single week, and they have been bad for so long. I think they deserve what they're getting.
Hey guys, quick interruption here. I know Nebraska plays Colorado. I know you Husker fans are fired up for this game. Well, right now on BetUS, the line is -7. For the Huskers as the Buffs head into the Big Red House. Now, do you feel confident that the Huskers will cover that 7 points, or that will they just win straight up money line? Whatever you feel, use the link in the description. When you click that link in the description for your first 3 deposits on BetUS, you get back 125% up to $2,000 deposit. It's an absolute steal. Again, use the link in the description to take full advantage. Maybe bet the over or the under of this game. This game is going to be an absolute doozy. It's going to be a fun one. And the over-under is 57.5. I like a 42-30 score position here. That's 70 points. I'm thinking it's going to be a shootout here with Dylan Raiola flinging the football. We know what Sanders can do. It's going to be a good one. Click the link down below. Now back to the show. They are a team that they've been down for so long, and they continue to show up week in and win out, because that's the only thing besides I think their volleyball team's pretty impressive too down there in Nebraska, or up there and to the left in Nebraska. But I say this about USC, and I say the same thing about Nebraska. Nebraska being good is good for college football. So as much as I hate to see, because there's that little bit of rivalry with the quarterback position, Dylan Raiola was supposed to go to Georgia, goes to Nebraska. Love seeing that success story, choosing to go to Nebraska versus staying at Georgia with all that went down. But how you feeling, Derek the Duck, about the Huskers?
Yeah, I feel like Nebraska just kind of had a different energy about them. I mean, granted, they played a team like UTEP, who, you don't expect a whole lot from, but it felt like this Nebraska team was confident stepping on the field in all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. Patrick Mahomes Jr., Dylan Raiola had 2 touchdowns, 19 for 27. So he had a solid game there in his first collegiate start with Nebraska. As you guys talked about the running backs, Emmett and Ramir Johnson had solid games, as well as the Oregon transfer Dante Dowdell, who I think is going to have a massive year if they give him a chance. He's a big physical back that has that just prototypical NFL frame. So I'd love to see him continue to get opportunities in the Nebraska run game. And then, it kind of, as Cody alluded to, Nebraska's schedule going forward is it's not super challenging. I wouldn't say. I mean, obviously you have a team on there like Ohio State in that game, everybody knows what you're getting when you bring in Ohio State. But aside from that, you got USC, who's battling LSU currently, and then you have Iowa. And then, Iowa, even then, they put up 40 points. But if you really watched that game, it wasn't, I was just not a team you really fear. So, if I'm Nebraska, I really like where I'm sitting. I think week 1 was a perfect showing, especially from Dylan Raiola, who has, massive amounts of expectations behind him, being that number 2 quarterback in the class. Emphasis on number 2, of course.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Points for Derek.
You got it. But yeah, if I'm a Nebraska fan, honestly, I feel more encouraged coming out of week 1 right now than I have probably felt in a number of years. Obviously, that's coming from me, an Oregon fan who's also in the Big Ten, but I think Nebraska, just given their schedule, if things start to go right, the offense progresses the way we think Dylan Raiola could, and the defense continues to stay stable, I think Nebraska could be a dangerous team moving forward. They could be a team that I don't know if we're going to hear their name mentioned in Big Ten championship conversations at the end of the year, but I think, it definitely could be something where we're talking about Nebraska for one of those lower end seeds come the end of the year.
Big Ten looks stout. I mean, USC's giving LSU a dogfight at the moment. We are recording this on Sunday. Just gave up our secret there. I know Penn State handled their business as well. Ohio State, Michigan played. They're obviously going to do. We'll find out about Michigan next week, which we are going to talk about now in our Bet US segment.
This video is brought to you by Bet US Sportsbook and Casino.